So this was back in 2021 when I was working at a small gas station. During the days, usually 2 people would be working, but night shifts, it was always just 1 person. Because in a small town, there normally isn't a lot of people who would come in past 9, so it was always slow at nights. I have insomnia, so I was always the one working the nights, because it was better with my schedule anyway, since I was also in college. One night, it was around 11 p.m., and I was sitting in the back where the office is, and I hear the bell ring, letting me know someone came in. I walked to the front and greet her, and immediately knew something was wrong. She was breathing heavily and looked terrified. She looked at me and asked me to call 911 because someone broke into her home while she was away for a few days. She said she tried to get them to leave because she saw a figure crouched in the corner, but they wouldn't respond and her phone was dead. So she drove to the nearest place to get help. I call 911 and give them the address to the gas station. When the 2 cops show up, they talk to us and ask us what was happening. And I told them I wasn't too sure, that she came in and needed help because someone broke into her home. After they spent some time talking to the lady, they let me know they are going to follow her to her house to check things out. I didn't hear anything of it until a few days later. On another night shift I was working when one of the same cops stopped and got gas. So I decided to ask him what had happened and if she was okay. He told me he wasn't too sure himself. The lady showed them where she saw the figure, and they checked the whole place and nothing seemed touched or out of place. And she told them she has cameras inside and outside of her house, that maybe they can identify who it was through that. But when they looked at the camera footage, they didn't see a break-in. The only thing that they saw was a really tall black shadow-looking figure in the same room she said she saw it. And it slowly walked from one side of the room to the corner it crouched in. And he said you could see the figure on the camera slowly just disappear, which was right before they showed up at the house. I used to stop at Chevron around 6 a.m. every morning when I got off work to get my son a snack for school. And there was this homeless woman that always stood outside the gas station. She never bothered anybody, nor asked for anything. But I would always get her a juice, water, and a snack just to be nice. One morning, as I handed her the items I bought, she told me, "When the light turns green, wait before going." I didn't know what she was talking about. I just said, "Yes, ma'am," and went on about my day. Well, I got to the red light across from the store and it turned green. And I seen her looking at me, so I froze. But the car next to me went. And an 18-wheeler ran a red light, and it was a 4-person fatality. After my shift, the following morning, she wasn't at the store. So I asked the clerk, has he seen her? And I started describing her. And he said, she died a few years ago from a car wreck at that same intersection. So a while back, roughly around mid-November 2021, I was working night shift at my local 7-Eleven. My coworker was in the back cooking chicken, and I was out front taking care of customers and making sure all of our write-offs were done. When I heard the alarm telling me the door opened and a customer has entered the store, I spun around to greet them, and as I did, I saw a black blur rush through the door and dart down the nearest aisle. At first I had thought that it was a customer that really needed the washroom or something, but noticed I didn't see them pass by any other aisles leading to the washroom. So I decided to take a quick look around the store to make sure they weren't trying to steal anything. However, I couldn't find anyone in the store, they just disappeared. Roughly 5 to 10 minutes later, a woman entered the store and walked down all the aisles seemingly looking for someone before calling out their name, Wesley. She only said it once before leaving the store. After that strange night, up until 3 days ago, things were normal. Nothing really seemed out of the ordinary, with the only incident I found slightly strange was hearing banging through one of the walls in the kitchen. One day, however, one of the bathrooms is on the other side of that wall, and I was cooking at the time, so I really didn't know if we had any customers in there at the moment, which is completely possible, and could have been countless things they may have been doing. We've had extremely high people banging around in the bathroom before. Teens will sometimes decide to have sex in there. Needless to say, that washroom's definitely seen some shit, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was a customer. Anyways, on Thursday, January 20th, I was once again working the night shift, and while doing my end of shift paperwork and printing off everything I needed, I was standing in front of the window facing all of the gas pumps, when for some reason pump 1 popped up on the gas till, saying that someone clicked the request help button. But when I looked out the window, there was no one anywhere near the pumps. The entire lot was empty except for a couple of cars belonging to other people in the area who also worked night shifts in the neighboring stores. Later that same night, when I went to the washroom, the door handle jiggled when I was inside. This was an employee washroom in the back customers do not have access to. When I came back out, I asked my coworker if she was trying to open the door, but she was getting cookies boxed to sell to customers, and never left the front of the store. Have a paranormal experience of your own? Share it with us at OfficialPhantom.mic at gmail.com. Whether in text or voice recording, we want to hear your story. Thank you for tuning in to Phantom Mic, and remember, if you still feel alone, you weren't listening closely enough.